Throughout the course of the semester, we have read different forms of text that displays a narrative of one who has left their home. Whether the move was by force or choice, the course allows students to read and understand the struggles and feelings of those who experience dysphoria. Many of the writers that are reviewed in the course write of their own experiences, but very few have been able to capture the experience of others as well. Khaled Hosseini is a best-selling author that not only lives vicariously through his characters, but is able to portray the life of others. His books are able to fit in and capture the overlaying themes presented in class. Khaled Hosseini was born in Kabul, Afghanistan on March 4, 1965. There he lived with his mother, who taught Farsi and history at a high school, and his father, who was a diplomat in the Afghan Foreign Ministry. In 1976, his father was relocated to the Foreign Ministry in Paris. As a result, his entire family had to move there. His family tried to return to Kabul in 1980, but due to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, they could no longer return to their home. When they learned they could no longer return home, they took political asylum in the U.S. There, his family settled in San Jose, California, where he continued his education. He graduated from high school in 1884 and enrolled in Santa Carla University. There, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology before attending medical school at the University of California, San Diego. He graduated with a medical degree in 1883, and from 1986 to 2004, he worked on completing his residency as a practicing internist at Cedars Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles to become a licensed physician. During that time, his residency wasn't the only thing that he worked on. He started writing his first book, The Kite Runner, and unknown to him, this book would start off a very successful writing career. Khaled Hosseini has written 4 books so far: The Kite Runner, A Thousand Splendid Suns, And the Mountains Echoed, and Sea Prayer. The first book, The Kite Runner, surprised him by selling over 38 million copies worldwide. The story originally started off as a short story about 2 boys flying kites as a response to the Taliban banning kite flying. A while after publication of the story was rejected, he decided to rewrite it in the form of a novel. The novel follows Amir, a son of a wealthy merchant and a member of the higher class who left his home during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. When he left, he did not just leave his country, but his best friend Hassan, who was of a lower class. Now an adult, he tries to redeem himself by returning home and righting the wrongs he feels he has done. According to Khaled Hosseini, it is a book of the lives of men, brotherhood, fatherhood, and so on. It gave him the idea to write his next book, A Thousand Splendid Suns. A Thousand Splendid Suns had just as much success as The Kite Runner. The books are parallel to each other, as it is a book that focuses on the lives of women during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The book follows 2 girls as they grow into women: Miriam, who with her mother lives in exile and longs to live with her father and his family in the city, and Lila, a young and liberated girl who has a bright future ahead of her. Both girls' lives are turned upside down, and this causes their paths to eventually cross. This book becomes their story of struggle, emotion, and survival. The stories of both females are inspired by the stories he heard from women and of women when he visited Afghanistan. And the Mountains Echoed is his next book. This is a book that does not focus just on the single narrative or a narrative of a single group like his first 2 books. This is a book about love, different emotions, family, and the connection that people share from different times and all around the world. This is a book that anyone can find a connection to. His most recent book, Sea Prayer, is a response to the Afghanistan refugee crisis, brought about by a disturbing image of a washed-up body of a young refugee. It is an illustrated book that resembles that of a picture book, but contains a very mature message of survival and hardships. All proceeds from the purchased copy of the book goes to the UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, and the Khalid Hosseini Foundation to help fund life-saving relief efforts to help refugees around the globe. Khalid Hosseini is a writer that captivates his readers with dynamic writing style and diverse narratives. His writing ability is only rivaled by the caring heart and drive to help those who are in need. As a goodwill ambassador at the UNHCR, Khalid Hosseini does not give a voice to refugees, but aid and support for them to have narratives of triumph. rather than sorrow.